At first, nothing happened. Only footsteps, only darkness, only the sound of three lanterns moving through the trees. And that made them laugh, because fear is easy to mock when nothing has happened yet. The forest remained silent, not peaceful, not natural. The kind of silence that feels deliberate, as if every tree was listening. The deeper they walked, the colder the air became. Not cold like night, cold like entering a place where life itself did not belong. Then they saw the trees, and on them, symbols, fresh symbols, carved deep into the bark, the pale wood still exposed beneath the cuts, as though something had carved them only moments before they arrived. The three men raised their lanterns. The laughter disappeared, because those markings were unlike anything they had ever seen. Not Igbo, not English, not anything human, just symbols, waiting, watching, and somehow the forest no longer felt empty. That was the first moment real fear entered their hearts. Obi felt it first, a strange pressure in the air, like someone standing directly behind him, close enough to touch him, but never touch him. Then he heard it, soft, almost gentle. Obi. His body froze. The others continued walking. They heard nothing, again. Obi. Not a warning, not a shout. A whisper, the kind of whisper that somehow sounds closer than your own thoughts. Obi slowly turned. Nothing was there. Only mist, only darkness, only trees. Yet the voice felt familiar, as though whoever spoke already knew him, as though it had been waiting for him. Then it came again. Come, against all reason. Obi took a step, then another. The others noticed too late. By the time they called his name, he was already moving away from them, not running, not afraid, walking calmly, like a man following a dream. Then Yusuf stopped, his lantern trembling in his hand, and when Yusuf stopped, everything changed. Between the trees stood a woman, dressed in white. She was not walking, she was not approaching, she was simply there, as if she had always belonged to the forest. Her body was wrong, too still, too tall, too thin. Her head tilted slightly to one side, and her eyes, even the darkness around her, seemed afraid. Neither man spoke, neither man moved. Fear had finally arrived. Then the lanterns went out, all at once. No wind, no warning, no flicker, just darkness. Complete darkness. The kind of darkness that makes you wonder if your eyes are still open. For one terrible moment, there was silence. Then came the screaming. The entire village heard it. People sat upright in their homes. Children woke from sleep. Even the elders stopped speaking, because they knew exactly where those screams were coming from. And they knew better than to follow them. Inside the forest, panic exploded. Obi disappeared deeper into the darkness, never looking back, never answering his friends, never stopping, as if the forest itself had taken hold of him. Yusuf tried to run, but suddenly the fog around his feet began to move, not with the wind, toward him. His lantern fell, its weak light spinning across the ground. Then something pulled him, hard, violently. Yusuf screamed, his hands clawed at the air, his feet dug into the mud. But whatever held him could not be seen, only felt. The fog swallowed him, his voice disappeared. And then, so did he. Emeka ran, not because he understood what was happening, not because he was brave. He ran because terror had taken control of his body. Branches tore at his skin, roots caught his feet, trees rushed past him in darkness. Behind him, something moved. He never saw what it was, and he never wanted to. All he knew was that if he stopped running, he would never leave that forest. When dawn finally came, The village saw a figure emerging from the mist, alone, covered in mud, covered in scratches, shaking so badly he could barely stand. It was Emeka, but even from a distance, people knew something was wrong, because sometimes a person survives, and sometimes something survives inside them. For weeks, Emeka said nothing. He sat in silence. He barely slept. He barely ate. When people spoke to him, he stared through them, as though part of him was still trapped inside the forest. Then one night, he finally spoke. Only a whisper. Only one sentence. The forest knows your name. And after saying it, he refused to say another word. The village elders organized a search party. 6 men entered the forest at dawn carrying lanterns and machetes. They searched for Obi. They searched for Yusuf. They searched for answers. The forest gave them none. Hours later, they found Yusuf, near the edge of the forest, his body lying perfectly still. No wounds, no blood, no signs of struggle. Only terror frozen forever on his face, as though he had seen something no human mind was meant to see. But Obi was nowhere. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. Still no sign of him. Yet every night, one person continued waiting. His mother. She sat outside her small house with a lantern beside her, looking toward the forest road, waiting, hoping, refusing to believe her son would never come home. Years passed. The lantern kept burning. Then one night, a child standing near the edge of the village pointed toward the forest. Look, the adults turned, and there, standing exactly between the village and the trees, was a figure, motionless, watching. A young man, dressed in white, his eyes pale and empty, his face familiar, too familiar. Some swore it was Obi. Others refused to look long enough to know. And behind him, deep within the darkness, other shapes stood watching too, silent, waiting. As though the forest de Simois had been collecting people for generations. To this day, the elders still tell the same warning. Do not answer voices inside the forest, because if something in the darkness calls your name, it may not be trying to bring you closer. It may simply be letting you know that it has finally found you.